How to hit longer woods. Today we find out with scratch golfer Alec.
I see quite a few issues that I think are fairly normal among amateur golfers, fairly popular issues. One at setup is, we can get your left foot open a little more, start engaging your hips, which I'll touch on there. And then something called early extension. It seems a little bit like your right hip moves towards the ball and it gets you a little bit flippy and you'll have those cross lefts, those fades right. So if we get your hips moving in the proper way, left hip meeting the right and backing up, we'll get you a little more power, hit the ball further, better rotation, more consistent strike, and that'll really help with sweeping your woods, but it applies to the entire swing. And then in order to do that, we're gonna touch a bit on your takeaway. So you bring the club a bit inside, which then promotes you to swing down from the outside, a little steep swing. If we get you to push the ball or the club backwards more, a little higher in the takeaway, you can drop more into the slot, shallow out, get the hips rolling, hopefully sweep those woods and hit them a mile.
Okay,
So
let's do it.
Let's get her going.
All right. So which step should we start with?
Let's just start with step one.
Okay.
We're gonna unlock some of that hip mobility and get you to open your front foot. So we'll hit a ball for it, but just go ahead, set up as you would, and then I'm gonna move your foot just a hair. So that's how you normally set up?
Yes.
Try to just pop that out like an inch. There you go.
That?
So that opens your left hip. It's a mobility thing. It allows you to twist better, engage your hips, unlock some power, some speed, and hopefully get a slightly more consistent strike.
This does open my left hip, but what I feel about this is like, I feel like my whole body is turning this way. So that means I need to close up more to compensate for that?
If you set up completely straight and neutral, just use your ankle.
Just like my ankle.
Like pivot off your heel,
Okay.
open that toe. It opens the hip, but don't actually twist your hips at setup.
Right.
So feel square and just open the foot. It's just gonna allow your hip to move more freely.
So neutral.
Yeah,
And then just
open
open
her
it up.
Yeah. There you go.
That felt different. I could feel a little bit more motion, like 10 to 12% more motion here on the contact.
I'd say so. I mean, we can check this, but I'd imagine if you do that, you'll pick up a little bit of head speed on the sensor from your previous, just getting those hips rolling. So that's something that as golfers, you should apply to all swings, all clubs. You're never setting up straight neutral. You have to open up that foot to allow your hip to get out and clear and make room for your arms and gain that power. So that's step one. What's next is, well, we're gonna discuss sort of a conversation of steepness, shallowness, and early extension.
That's a lot.
They're very complicated golf fundamentals, and they're stuff that amateurs really struggle with, but that we should absolutely learn. For now, we're just gonna start with trying to get your takeaway a little higher, a little more straight, to enable you to get shallow. So for those who don't know, steep swinging is when you kind of get up here and your first motion is to go around the ball. It's like a baseball player thing, over the top, and you hit those big fades. Shallow would be, on the other hand, getting into the slot like pros do, getting inside. You can hit those big draws like Rory or hit a straighter ball flight. That's kind of the goal for us, what we're trying to get to. And now there's ways to help and trigger those. So another thing you may have heard of is an inside takeaway. Alex over here tends to do that, where the club comes in here and then up, and that motion, that arc, makes him want to come that way. It's like a big figure eight. But if you went the other way, the arc is going to want to switch. So you'll see most pros, if they do anything to one side, they're usually a little out and then in. They're not usually coming in and out. And we're going to start with that. So there's a famous drill by Nelly Korda, the best LPGA player in the world.
One plane swinger.
Yeah, very much. But she does this, and I mean, we're gonna have to see how this works on the simulator, but she will put a ball right behind the ball she's hitting.
Right behind?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Well, no, you're not gonna hit it. You gotta bear with me for a second.
I feel like if you top that, I'm gonna die in my knees here.
The drill is to push the ball backwards
Uh-huh.
off the mat or off your playing surface. And if you're using an iron specifically, it'll roll straight back.
Right.
And that means you took the club away in a straight line. Like you said, one plane swinger.
Right.
She takes it back very uniformly and then repeats it on the downswing.
Uh-huh.
You, on the other hand, if you had the ball, you would probably see something like pulling it that way because you're pulling inside and then coming over.
Right.
So we're gonna try to do that drill with you and get the ball to go straight back or even a tiny bit out to the right.
Right.
And that should help you come in shallow and get more into the slot.
Okay.
To try to get that,
Sure. Let's give that a try.
Slightly shallower swing.
All right. So our neutral step. So everything's square here. Open just a toe without turning my body.
Just like that.
Okay. And now I'm gonna try to push this ball straight back and then just go for the swing. So I'm hitting on the heel.
Yeah, so a little flippy with the wrists.
Okay.
That's the last topic we'll probably touch on, which is...
Let me try this with, I kind of had the feeling of the straight takeaway. Let me try it without the ball, which will probably help me hit the ball better.
You can also just visualize your club making a
I'll do
beeline backwards, you know?
Right.
Or almost feel like it's reaching out to your right side. That looks a lot better. Little draw.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, well, you probably can't see from the angle you're standing, but in order for the draw to happen, it has to go from inside out.
Inside to out, yeah. More of in the slot
position. So this, do you think that happened because of this takeaway? I went up and then came back? Well, let's see one more time.
I'm not standing directly behind you, so it's a little hard for me to tell, but I keep trying it. I think so. I think it's, at the least, it's still a great thing to do.
Right.
And improve your takeaway.
Let's try one more time.
It's much better.
Oh, wow.
Much better. That was flushed.
So, wow.
I would record that swing. That's probably one of the best swings I've ever seen out of you. That was very, very good.
All right.
So that looks way better. So your club is coming back more on a straight line. Your takeaway isn't so inside under plane. It's much more neutral. Your arms are getting a little up and it's allowing you to stay more neutral instead of that shoulder pulling down and over.
One thing I definitely feel doing this drill is I feel a lot more consistency on my backswing.
Yeah.
Because like by imagining this line, I'm always coming up one way and it usually always adjusts one way.
Yeah.
Earlier before when I was coming back, I kind of had no goal. It's kind of random and it just adjusts differently every time. That's why it goes
totally possible.
I think all over the place.
Totally possible. So that's a good one to continue with.
Right. Okay. Takeaway. Now what?
Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about is probably your hips because I think that is where we struggle the most. And you know, first we had that foot opening up to help with that. But the tricky thing in the golf swing, especially with the longer clubs like woods and driver, is the longer the shaft, the more people tend to swing hard. Yeah. And the more they swing hard, the more they tend to spin out. So early extension and spinning out.
What does spinning out mean?
It's when your trail hip is coming toward the ball or your lead hip. So you're spinning almost. It's like a twist.
Okay.
In golf, it's supposed to be your lead hip working back to meet the trail.
A rotation.
So it's a rotation where it almost brings your chest down and you can see like both your glutes in the back, so like in the through swing. And it's a powerful turn that keeps you down and low and able to compress down on that ball. For now, I want you to just go real slow. You're not gonna hit any balls. Take the club up, feel your right hip go back. And then I want you to feel like your left hip is working all the way open while your right hip is staying where it is. Right. And that's just gonna be to feel the swing, to get in low like that. We're not gonna hit any balls, we're just gonna try to replicate what that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Open up that left foot a little.
Okay,
there you go.
foot open.
It looked good though. So pull it back.
Come on.
Slowly work that left hip backwards. Try to show both your butt cheeks to the camera. There you go.
Okay.
And then you swing in and through with the hands.
Yeah.
There, and that's that shallow swing and release.
Yeah. So how do we approach doing this? Because this is not a common sense movement.
Going in the mirror and on camera, like filming yourself swing is probably the best way. And to start, like go stand in the mirror, watch yourself and see how you can match your left hip to your right hip and see if you can kind of see both your butt cheeks while you're fake swinging a club in your house. That's a way to get the idea. And then when you're playing, there's probably some drills you can do. Namely, this was on the PGA in some interviews, was Justin Rose. Okay. He came second at the Masters in the playoff hole to Rory this year. He uses this way to guarantee that hip rotation. He comes all the way to the top and his swing thought is to push backwards off his lead foot's toes. So he's pushing this hip, physically moving his left hip backwards. If you just imagined shoving off that toe, your left hip literally rotates out, which prevents you from standing up and throwing your right hip to the target.
Right.
And that's probably the best drill possible from a fantastic player to try to mimic that.
Right. I'm just gonna ask real quickly. You said pushing off the toe, but when I try to replicate this motion, it feels like I'm pushing off the heel.
I wouldn't do that.
No?
No. The idea, pushing off the heel is gonna get you vertical and it's gonna throw your right hip forward.
It's gonna make you stand up.
That's just this, standing out of your swing.
Right.
If you push off your left toe, like you can even exaggerate by just take your left heel off the ground, do little baby practice swings, push it back. It physically moves your hip. You can just see it back, pulling that hip, keeping my chest down and in posture. And then that would allow me to execute that shallow swing with full mobility through it.
Right.
So that's probably the #1 drill to try to get that. In my
Okay, let's
opinion.
try
It's
it.
what works for me.
If you're looking for a drink for your golf game, try out Shake Cobra Tea in our affiliate link down below. That one I stood up.
Yeah, you stood up.
So I have to fire back, not fire up.
Yeah. Try the DeChambeau version.
Which is like really come up, exaggerate it.
And then drop your left heel down in your through swing. There you go.
Was that better?
That left hip pulled, yeah. That was well struck.
That one was a little bit. I had a little bit of rotation.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully there.
Very good.
I felt that. Contact's not the best, but that's fine right now.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You picked up 5 to 6 miles of speed since the beginning, so.
And you can see my hips really firing first there.
Yeah.
It's not super together yet, but at least it's firing. Let's hit one last one and
definitely
then we'll move on.
Improving.
Yeah.
Improving. Very nicely struck.
Yeah.
Face might just be a little open there at impact.
But that's also a result of turning my hips more, right? My club face will just open up a little bit more.
Maybe. I mean, you might just be getting used to, like, if you're rotating better, you have to cast less.
Yeah, and then it's dragging more, so it's more open on impact. So I just need to close a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
And, that all takes time and practice.
Right.
And when you're making swing changes, usually crutches, like small things that you do to fix bigger things, start to affect it negatively.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do we need to do to put this together to increase our distance?
Increase your distance. I mean, rotation is going to be key. That'll be step 1. So navigating that early extension, getting your hips open a little more.
Right.
That's going to pick up distance. Opening that front foot, that's going to pick up distance. Getting your takeaway outside to in, likely will increase distance.
Well, I mean, right now, I think we've already increased distance. All I need to do right now is just hit it straight.
Yeah.
So should we try that should we try to hit a few straight shots, close my club face?
Yeah, let's just hit some balls. Practice what you're learning. Maybe just focus on the first 2 steps.
Yeah.
Open up that toe, keep the club head trailing straight back. It'll give you a bit of a shallower angle and you'll spin the ball a little less and pick up some yardage. That was pure.
That was
very good shot.
That's great.
So your club head 99. You started at 92, 93.
226 carry.
Yeah. No problem with that.
So that's pretty much it. Let's see if I can do it one more time. If we can do 2 in a row, then it'll probably be tough. I mean, this is a lot of change in one 20-minute session. But yeah, it feels good.
Good. Absolutely flushed.
I'm actually like generating good power here, and it feels good to generate it.
Significantly more. That's 102.
Yeah.
102 head speed.
Wow.
So you picked up 7 to 8 miles over this video.
Right. That's good.
That's gains. I
mean, like but not everyone can do that. I just happen to like kind of, well, I'm also quite athletic.
Yeah, sure. I'd say for those who are learning golf and can recognize that maybe they're early extending a bit and they're steep or their left foot isn't open, you will gain speed.
Right.
Opening up your hips, utilizing your hips, becoming more efficient and shallowing out your swing will translate to better ball speed, better club speed.
All right.
So
let's recap.
Today with Alex, we worked on his lead foot. So when you're setting up for the golf swing, you don't want to be 100% at a 90-degree angle with your toes, shoulders to your target. You want to have your sternum, pelvis, chest all pointed 90 degrees. And then you want to open up that left toe. That allows your left hip to rotate more, generating a more comfortable swing, easier on the body, and some more speed. Next, we moved on to the takeaway. We talked about the Nelly Korda ball drill, where you would put a ball just behind the ball you're hitting. And as you swing back, you want to knock that ball as straight back as you can to keep that takeaway on the correct plane, straight back through your swing, enabling you to shallow out as opposed to coming inside and over the top, hitting spinny shots, losing distance. And then lastly, we talked about Masters runner-up Justin Rose and his early extension drill, where he tries to control his hips in the proper way and rotate efficiently. Top of the swing, chest backwards, push off the lead toes to turn your left hip to match your right. Limits early extension, gets you more power, gets you more consistent pro-like strike.
If you found this video helpful, please support our channel by giving us a like, comment, and subscribe, and check out this video.